prompted 10 News to track down the original local.
Have you ever wondered what life is like in the most dangerous places on Earth? From Caracas to Mogadishu, crime and violence rule the streets. Stay tuned to uncover the shocking truths about these cities that the world tries to ignore. You won't believe what's happening in these forgotten corners. Caracas, murder capital. In Caracas, Venezuela, violence is a daily reality. The city, once a thriving metropolis, now holds the title of the murder capital of the world. With more than 100 homicides per 100,000 people, gangs and organized crime run rampant, controlling neighborhoods and imposing fear on residents. The poverty rate in Caracas is sky-high, with many people living in slums where the government has little control. As crime escalates, so does the desperation among its citizens. The streets, once filled with music and laughter, are now dominated by violence, and residents are forced to lock themselves inside after dark. Despite the efforts of law enforcement, corruption and a lack of resources make it impossible to tackle the issue. Many young people are drawn into gangs as a way to survive, perpetuating the cycle of violence. In this city, hope seems distant, and every day is a struggle to stay alive. The story of Caracas serves as a tragic reminder of how poverty, crime, and a lack of control can devastate even the most vibrant places, leaving behind a city in turmoil. Cape Town, crime and beauty. In Cape Town, South Africa, the allure of stunning landscapes and vibrant culture is overshadowed by an alarming rise in crime. Known for its breathtaking views of Table Mountain and beautiful beaches, Cape Town is also infamous for its high crime rate, particularly in its impoverished areas. Gang violence runs rampant, with murder rates significantly above the global average. Residents of certain neighborhoods live in constant fear, as violent crimes like robbery, rape, and murder are an everyday occurrence. The city's wealth disparity is stark, with affluent areas only a short distance away from some of the most dangerous parts of town. Gangs control many areas, and turf wars are frequent, leaving innocent people caught in the crossfire. Despite police efforts, the gang culture is deeply rooted, and corruption makes it hard to break free from this cycle. Cape Town's beauty contrasts sharply with its crime-ridden areas, where hope seems lost for many. It's a city of extremes, where paradise meets peril, leaving its residents longing for safety and peace. San Pedro Sula, gang territory. In San Pedro Sula, Honduras, crime is a haunting reality. Once known as the murder capital of the world, the city suffers under the control of violent gangs, primarily MS-13 and 18th Street. With a homicide rate exceeding 170 murders per 100,000 people, this city is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. These gangs have a grip on the city's economy, extorting businesses and threatening families. Poverty and unemployment fuel the violence, and many young people join gangs out of fear or desperation. The streets are lined with tension, as shootouts between rival gangs and law enforcement are common. Despite efforts to combat this violence, the city struggles with corruption and inadequate resources to restore peace. For residents, the fear of violence lingers in every corner, and many dream of escaping the brutality. San Pedro Sula's story is one of survival, as its citizens fight for a better future amidst overwhelming odds. Street Louis, America's danger zone. In Street Louis, USA, crime runs deep, making it one of the most dangerous cities in America. With a homicide rate of 60.3 per 100,000 people, the city is plagued by violent crime, particularly in certain neighborhoods. Gangs and drug trade dominate the streets, leading to frequent shootings and robberies. The wealth gap between rich and poor has contributed to high crime rates, with areas of severe poverty being hotspots for violence. Residents live in constant fear, and many businesses close early to avoid becoming targets of crime. Despite efforts to increase police presence, Street Louis struggles with a lack of resources and rising tensions between law enforcement and the community. Gun violence continues to escalate, with incidents becoming more frequent. The story of Street Lewis is a stark reminder of how crime and poverty are deeply intertwined. For many, it's a fight for survival every day, with no end in sight. Rio, favela struggles. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the contrast between stunning beaches and violent crime is sharp. The city's famous favelas, home to millions, are controlled by drug cartels and gangs, with residents often caught in the middle of turf wars. The city struggles with drug violence, robbery, and murders on a daily basis, particularly in areas like Complexo do Alemão and Rocinha. Gangs fight for dominance, and police corruption makes it harder to control the violence. Despite the city's global fame, the reality for many in Rio is one of fear and uncertainty. The police are often seen as enemies in these areas, and many young people are recruited by gangs as a way to escape poverty. The government's efforts to pacify these areas with military police often result in deadly confrontations, leading to a cycle of violence that's hard to break. For the people living in these favelas, Rio is a city of survival, where the beauty of the beaches contrasts with the dangers lurking in the streets. Kabul, war-torn streets. In Kabul, Afghanistan, crime and violence are deeply intertwined with decades of conflict. As the capital of a country ravaged by war, Kabul faces extreme challenges, with terrorist attacks, bombings, and armed assaults becoming a part of daily life. The rise of the Taliban and the instability that followed have led to a breakdown of law and order, leaving residents vulnerable to both criminal activity and political violence. With little to no police presence in many areas, Kabul's streets are often controlled by militias, criminals, and extremists. The city's infrastructure is in ruins, and many people live in poverty, further fueling crime. Kidnappings, robberies, and shootings are commonplace, as desperation drives people to extreme measures. Despite the chaos, life goes on in Kabul, where survival is a daily struggle. The people live in constant fear of both criminal gangs and the ever-present threat of terrorist groups, hoping for peace that seems ever so distant. Detroit. From industry to crime. Once a booming industrial hub, Detroit, USA, now faces a stark reality of economic decline and high crime rates. With a murder rate of 45.3 per 100,000 people, Detroit is one of the most dangerous cities in America. The city's downfall began with the collapse of its manufacturing industry, leaving many residents without jobs and economic opportunities. This led to widespread poverty, unemployment, and an increase in violent crime. Gangs and drug cartels control several neighborhoods, and the police struggle to maintain order in areas plagued by high crime. Abandoned homes and businesses line the streets, further contributing to the feeling of decay. Despite efforts to revitalize the city, Detroit's crime problem remains a constant challenge. For many of Detroit's residents, survival means navigating the dangers of the streets. The city, once known for its automobile industry and music culture, now fights to recover from the wounds of its past. Mogadishu. Lawless capital. In Mogadishu, Somalia, lawlessness and violence have defined the city for years. The aftermath of civil war and the rise of terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab have made this once vibrant capital one of the most dangerous places on earth. With a lack of central government control, violence is rampant, including bombings, shootings, and kidnappings. Criminal groups and militants impose fear, leaving the people of Mogadishu trapped in a cycle of violence. The absence of a stable law enforcement system allows criminal activity to flourish, making everyday life a constant struggle for survival. Many residents live in constant fear of attacks, while aid organizations face difficulties in providing help due to the volatile security situation. Despite the grim situation, the people of Mogadishu continue to hold on to hope for peace. The city, though marked by conflict, represents the resilience of its citizens who strive for a better future amidst chaos. What happens when crime completely overwhelms a city? Don't miss our next video. What happens when crime overwhelms a city? Real-life cases, where we dive deep into cities on the brink of collapse. Hit that subscribe button now and join our community for more shocking stories that you won't find anywhere else. Trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming next.